Burton Brewery, Stairway to Heaven.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one here that I really don't know whether I want to drink it or not. Now this has come from the Burton Brewery. I don't know what order the reviews are going to go out onto YouTube, but I tried some of their Empire Pale Ale yesterday, and I can honestly say, out of all the beers I have ever drunk, that was the worst one. It was absolutely disgusting. Now, there's certain breweries out there who brew beer and they do fantastic cask beer and it just doesn't translate into the bottle and vice versa. But I have to say, if there's any sort of quality control at Burton Brewery and they think it was acceptable to let that Empire Pale Ale go out in that condition, then they seriously either need to check their quality control or they need to brush up on how to bottle beer. It was absolutely disgusting. It tasted like beer that had been sat in a pump or a cask and had gone off. Now the sell-by date on the beer was 2021, and I can only imagine what it would have tasted like in 2021, because in 2020 it was absolutely disgusting. So we've got that out of the way. Then we came onto this one, or come onto this one if you like. I got this off Beers of Europe, and I bought the two together. The two were quite cheap, they were under £2. I've not tried any Burton Bridge beer before. They come from what is technically the capital of British beer brewing, Burton-on-Trent, and I thought they were going to be good. Now, I have had in the past certain beers that have been on the first try of one of their beers, they've been absolutely disgusting. And I'm thinking of the Dynamite Valley Brewery. They brewed, I think it was an orange wheat beer. It was absolutely vile. Wasn't as bad as the Empire Pale Ale, but it wasn't good. And then I decided to take the plunge and I tried another one, and it was absolutely amazing. And they went from zero to hero in one beer. Now, really, genuinely am hoping that is going to be the case with this one, because Burton Bridge at the moment are down in my reference as being the worst brewery on the strength of that beer. Now maybe that sounds a bit harsh, maybe I could have got a bad bottle, there could have been a bad batch, I don't know. This will be the decider. If I get two distinctly bad beers from a brewery, then they go down in my estimation. If I get two absolutely disgusting beers from a brewery, then I don't think there's any coming back. I would be hard pushed to buy another one. So, let's see what's going on with this beer. Now, Burton Bridge, of course, if you look at the other video, you'll get all the history, but they've basically been going since 1980, roughly around that time. And this one is a 5% beer called Stairway to Heaven. Now, I don't know whether they're trying to nick that off Led Zeppelin or whether there's some other meaning behind that. To be honest, I really haven't researched that. But after the debacle with the other beer, I really didn't have much time for the brewery. I know that's very unprofessional and I shouldn't have done that, but I can't emphasise how disgusted I was with that beer. But this could be the redeemer. So let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, I have got the cap lifter. That cap came off a little bit too easy. And again, that's not good. Okay, again, it's plain silver cap. I'll throw it up now. Now, I don't normally sniff beer out of a bottle, So I'm just going to pour it directly into the glass. And I'm going to half fill it like I did last time. And there it is in the glass. Now there's a fair bit of carbonation. The head is dissipating and it's not looking good. In fact, there is a mountain of carbonation in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's quite a cloudy bit. Look, you can see that there. That is clearing on the nose. That smells disgusting. Now, is this me? There is huge sulphur coming from that. Now I know that Burton water is renowned for its sulphur flavour. So maybe I should give this a bit more of a chance. So I'm going to pour the rest out. But yesterday's beer was not good at all. It was flat as a witch's tit. The head wasn't as good as that. And it just tasted vile. But the carbonation, can you see that? That is insane. That is like a cheap macro brewed lager. There is like a sulphurous apple, strong sour apple, stroke, altar wine type aroma from that. There is a sour ester coming from there, like lactobacillus or something like that. And to be honest, I don't think it's that good, but I'm willing to give it a go. There it is in the glass. Now it is, I mean, look at the carbonation. That has gone, as I said before. The carbonation yesterday was virtually non-existent. It just fizzled out. This stuff is absolutely going for it. What have they got this down as? It doesn't really say. I'm assuming it's like a golden ale. God. I just want to get that aroma. It's like a sulphurous, sour, yeasty, lactobacillus flavour and aroma coming from the beer. God, I don't know, I really don't know whether I want to try this or not, but wish me luck. This could be terrible. Right, well, it's not a spit out of the mouth job, and it is slightly better than the one yesterday, the Empire Pale Ale. Now, this is possibly a touch cold because it's come out of the fridge and I let it stand for about 10 minutes or so. Let's give it another go. Okay, it's not as bad as the Empire Pale Ale. It's got that distinctly Burton type sulphur that you get from the water from Burton ales, but it's got it in abundance. In the mouth, there is a slightly sour, yeasty type ester that I think could possibly go off if there wasn't as much carbonation as there in there as is in there now. Bloody hell! Put your teeth back in. You can see the carbonation is still there. The head retention is reasonable. and it's actually turning out to be a reasonably good beer. The hop character is quite big. There's big hop bitterness on the finish on this, but I am getting caramel malt and a lot of fruit. Now, I didn't look up what hops are in here, but I'm assuming they're obviously English hops. And there is an apple type flavour to it, like a Granny Smith's bitter type apple flavour to it, almost lambic-esque or sour. I'm assuming it's coming from the yeast. The reason I'm assuming that is because you had that yesterday in the Empire Pale Ale, and to be honest, it tasted like it had gone off, and it was more vinegar than apple, if you know what I mean. This, on the other hand, it's reasonable. I will say that. There is that sulphurous mineral type flavour that you get from Burton ales, and that obviously comes from the water. There is a touch of biscuit malt and a hint of caramel malt on that. It's more biscuit that I'm getting. Then you've got a bitter hop finish, earthy hop finish, but there is a sour tart overtone to that, which all in all does make it slightly interesting. But I can taste the hops. The hop aftertaste on this is really big. It's a bitter aftertaste. The more I drink it, the more my palate adjusts to it. The carbonation doesn't really translate into the mouthfeel. I think I don't know what the carbonation situation is now. Yeah, it's still going for it. To be honest, that doesn't really translate. There is carbonation there, and it is just bordering on the abrasive. But all in all, I don't know whether I was fearing the worst, and it's not exceeded my bad expectation, or whether this is genuinely a bad beer, and where I've psyched myself up for it to taste bad, it's actually not tasting too bad. You do get some strange aromas from this. Real strong, and they're yeasty esters as well, because you can, how can I put it? This tastes like it's been brewed for the cask. It's been brewed in a reasonably small batch, and I think where they've just shot a load of carbon dioxide into it, basically its slip is showing. They do say that they use Maris Otter malt in their beer, and that could explain why I'm getting the nice malty character on here. So I'm going to put that down, because when I have to try and find the positives in a beer, I know that it's probably not the best. So what's the verdict on this? Well, I have to say, I've tried 2 beers from Burton Bridge. First beer was absolutely disgusting. They have somewhat redeemed themselves with this one. On opening, it smelled disgusting. Pouring it out into the glass, it did not taste great. I think where it's calmed down and the carbonation has settled and my palate has adjusted to the flavour, it's redeemed itself somewhat. However, there is still some nastiness in there. I'm getting that horrible, it's like a vinegar-esque wine lactobacillus, yeasty, just horribleness, if that's such a word, that's in there, and it's spoiling that drink for me, because that has the potential to be good, but I think they really need to look at their yeast and how it travels and how it preserves itself, because it's putting me off. I can see some potential with this, and as I say, it's not as bad as the other stuff. That I will never forget that. That will go down as the worst pint I have tasted in a very, very long time. And when I'm talking a long time, I mean decades. That's how bad it was. You'd say, if that came out of a pump, I'd say your beer's on the turn a little bit. It's just at the cusp of, you know, going over the edge and being a massive pile of bollocky dog wank. That's a technical term for it, anyway. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. You've redeemed yourselves a little tiny bit, but you've got to go a fucking long way, Burton Bridge, because at the moment, that's the second beer that is suspect. The first beer was dog shit. Second beer is suspect. I may give you one final chance. And you may all be sitting there thinking, well, who the fuck are you to be giving a brewery a second chance? I'm the punter that's putting my money in their pockets. So I'm going to be expecting a half decent beer, not some fucking half-arsed lash up that they think is acceptable. So I may try one more Burton Bridge beer, and if I get anything nasty or I'm making excuses for them, that's it. I am done with Burton Bridge. So I'm going to give this a reluctant 5 out of 10. There's more good going for it than there is bad, but the margin is like that. You're on thin ice, Burton Bridge. And remember, I'm drinking this shit, so you don't have to.